It's time to get ready for hour 3. Parlay Pete's going to open you up in hour 3. He's going to talk some college football. We're going to get into our good old college football stuff. We're going to bring back the Finebaum segment. And then we're going to preview NFL Week 3. I'm going to go to the bathroom though.
All right. Well, I think it's pretty simple to how we can kick off the college football segment here. Got a lot of good games that are going to be coming on, a bunch of ranked opponents. This is kind of like the Super Bowl week for college football. And the reason I say that is because typically week 4, you start to, A, you figure out who's who, but then B, you get these matchups that you've been looking for. Because a lot of the teams, if you don't play in week 1, that week 2 and week 3, similar to what Clemson has done, you play against kind of the slouches. You might have a division game against a weaker, conference opponent or whatever. This week, we've got a ton of fucking games that are, just going to be off the chain in regards to ranked opponents and just big-time matchups. I mean, I'll just go down the slate. For the 12 o'clock slate, you got Auburn at Texas A&M. You got Florida State, Clemson. You got Oklahoma, Cincinnati. That's going to be like kind of an underrated game. Then for the 3:30 slate, you got Colorado, Oregon. You got Mississippi, Alabama. That's another 3:30 game. That's going to be a big-time game, big-time SEC game. I mean, a lot's going to be at stake in that game. You get a fun matchup like UTSA at Tennessee, teams that don't typically play each other, but UTSA had a really good year last year, Tennessee. You get other games like Appalachian State, Wyoming. That's such an interesting game. Like, that's a fun matchup because App State doesn't go to Wyoming typically, and that's such just a unique type of matchup. You get Arkansas, LSU. They put on plenty of classics in the past. You get Oregon State. Oregon State gets to go to Washington State. Those are 2 ranked teams in the Pac-12. Going to be a really exciting game that's going to be going on in Pullman. Of course, you get Iowa, Penn State. You get Ohio State, Notre Dame. You get Texas, Baylor. Even though Baylor kind of sucked, you still get Texas, Baylor. Just a lot of fun matchups that you're going to get this week in college football. Play the fight music.
It's not loaded up. It's going to take me too long to find it.
I know. I was just, I did my rendition or whatever. Real question is, are the 49ers going to throw the fucking ball at George Kittle?
For your bet sake, sure. For your fantasy sake, I could care less.
But they affect. It's a both of. They affect both in reality. I'm just surprised that he hasn't gotten the ball. Like, if he doesn't get the touchdown, sure. But why isn't he getting the ball, period, is my issue,
I care about you winning your bets. I think that's great. I want all my friends to win bets.
You don't want me to lose this week, though, in fantasy either.
Who you got this week?
JP.
Well, he's not good. You're going to beat him.
Well, here's the issue. My guys are hurt. We play each other next week. And you don't want to face a 1-2 me. Like, that would be an issue. Like, because then we start talking about elimination games already. And I'm not going to be eliminated. I have so much talent that just isn't fucking playing. It's not even funny. Like,
well, here's the thing I got. I got Jameson Williams in the tuck, which creates trade possibilities for me moving later into the season. But we're not going to get into that.
Jameson Williams in comparison to Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor is a crazy comparison.
If Jonathan Taylor plays and plays well.
He is not Le'Veon Bell in this thing. The real question is, are the Dolphins going to step up to the fucking plate and just give up the one so that they can go to the Super Bowl this year? Or is he just going to suck it up and fucking play out the contract? The Colts don't even look that bad. Like, Anthony Richardson, even against the Jaguars, like, they didn't look bad against them. They were in that game. Like he could play with Anthony Richardson, I guess is what I'm saying. It could work in reality.
I agree with you, but Parlay Pete, are you ready to role play?
I am ready to role play. Actually, it's funny enough because I didn't have that in my 6-pack, but when you were gone there for a second, we were just talking about how big the matchups are, and obviously you get Ole Miss at Alabama. And, of course, we saw that shitstorm literally at South Florida between Alabama and South Florida.
Disgusting.
So now, I guess, hold on 1 second, Lee. Let me see something here.
Take your time.
Um,
Hey, I just want to, while he's doing that, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the fans who tapped in, told us y'all like this segment, because we kind of did it off of a whim. Didn't really think about it being a thing, but y'all definitely turned this into a thing. And I think we're going to keep doing it.
and I don't see why not. And that's exactly why we're going to go ahead and get this thing started off the right way.
I bet you're about to play some audio that you should have sent me.
No, it wasn't going to be. Yeah, it is kind of audio, I guess you could say. But basically, there's a phone call coming in.
Paul Finebaum.
He's like, yes, caller. Who is this?
This is Cleetus from Lumpkin County, Georgia.
Hey, Cleetus, how are you doing today?
Hey, Paul, I'm just happy to be here, man. And let me tell you what. First time caller, long time listener.
We appreciate you always listening, Cleetus. And you said
Paul,
you're from where, Cleetus?
Lumpkin County, Georgia. Go Dogs.
Oh, okay. Go Dogs. So you're a big dog fan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Finebaum. And I'll let you know, if you ever make your way to the great state of Georgia, y'all bring your show to Athens, I'll make sure we fuel up to F-150. We get up there, and me and you can meet at the Waffle House, have us a great late night dinner / breakfast after a couple drinks down town in Athens. I'll spend a night or two down there, Paul. I'll show you the ropes, man. We'll have a good time.
Well, Cleetus, we certainly do appreciate any type of Southern hospitality. What is it that you wanted to talk about?
Well, Paul, I got two things. I want to talk about Alabama first. I want to say, Paul, I don't know what they've got going on in Alabama. I see they got the second-ranked quarterback coming in next year. Maybe they bounce back. I don't know, but Paul, so last week they played Buckner. Buckner and his boy Tommy Reese from Notre Dame.
Well, it wasn't Buckner. Yeah, let's give it a little bit more respect. They played South Florida, an AAC school. It was a monsoon going on. He already had decided that he was going to start another quarterback in the game. But Cleetus, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you like that, but
it's fine, Paul Finebaum. I respect you. I respect your show. I listen every single day, so I know how this thing goes. But Paul, they brought in that boy Buckner, and him and Tommy Reese look like Notre Dame's offense from last year. But somehow that Notre Dame offense is looking good this year without both of them there. And all I'm saying is, Nick Saban, he goes to the young boy after Buckner is out there looking like butt, and now he's going back to Milroe. As a Georgia fan, it makes me happy because it lets me know the SEC is ours to take. But I'll tell you what, Paul, Alabama, roll tide is no tide, man. It's low tide out there, boy. Ain't nobody getting wet by that water, Paul.
Well, look, Cleetus, at the end of the day, Georgia faced a deficit at halftime. I think that was the first time that they faced a double-digit deficit in about 5 or 6 years. So, to kind of come in and start talking about Alabama in the way that they look, and they look terrible. Don't get it twisted. I mean, Nick Saban is definitely on the doorstep of the Grim Reaper at this point, because it looks like that program might be headed down that path. And they do have the number 2 quarterback coming in. That kid slipping my mind. It's kind of irrelevant to this conversation. What we will say is this. Cleetus, it was monsoon going on down there in South Florida. They toughed it out. They still won by 2 touchdowns. They held them scoreless outside of the first 3 points that they scored in the game before the weather even began. Do you really blame Nick for wanting to go back to the guy that at least was giving him some sort of results, as opposed to, the third-string quarterback coming into the season? I don't blame Nick for that.
I don't blame Nick for going back to Milroe. I blame Saban for not playing that boy, that sophomore, that 5-star he brought in, and not just let him get the reps, because obviously he don't believe in Milroe. he definitely don't believe in
Cleetus. They've got a big game this week. You know, everybody's been talking about it. If you look here on the 4-letter network, or if you look on FS1 or any of these other institutions that want to put out football content, he's lost to Jimbo now. He's lost to Kirby. You know, is Lane next?
Paul, let me tell you something. I think Lane's next because, you know, I'm a big Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine fan. But you know what? We had to send Smoltz to the bullpen to become a closer because he couldn't throw that fastball like he used to. We had to let Glavine go to the New York Mets because he wasn't Glavine no more, and we let Maddux go to the Cubs. And all I'm saying is Saban's fastball ain't 98 no more. It more like 92.
Well, Cleetus, I think that's a fair comparison, and I love your baseball analogy, and I understand that the Braves are doing pretty well. They better watch out because their bullpen's not looking very good right now. But that's another story for another
bullpen, Paul. We got to phone you.
Cleetus, now you're stepping on me, okay? I'm trying to tell you something about your baseball team as a side conversation. We're not talking about the Braves. We're talking about Alabama football, and they've got a game with Ole Miss this week. And I just want to understand why you would care for somebody else to come in a game where they're playing against a ranked opponent in a big game that pretty much decides the season. Why wouldn't you go back to the kid that you know more about?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Paul, I just don't think they're good. I don't think they have a good quarterback. And I don't want to talk no more about Alabama football because Alabama football is not going to be relevant this year. I want to talk about my Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, of course you do. Of course you want to talk about them. They've got Trent Dilfer's squad coming in. I mean, that's a really easy conversation. And look, the Dogs have been dominant. But what is there to talk about? They came back against South Carolina. Is anyone in here surprised? I'm not surprised. You're not surprised. Nobody on this network is surprised, and there's going to be no caller that calls in that says that they're surprised. What is it that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about
out of Trent Dilfer and his band of flunkies. I mean, what did you want to get at with your team?
I want to talk about Carson Beck. I want to talk about Carson Beck. I want to talk about Carson Beck because Carson Beck doesn't impress me. And Paul, I'm not no racist or none of that right here. Georgia football. We Sony Michelle.
Well, nobody assumed that you were a racist, Cleetus.
Todd Gurley, Nicholas Chubb. Hey, we're praying for him. We hope he gets back right. No Sean Marino, all that. But we got a white boy playing running back at Georgia. I don't like that. We got Carson Beck playing quarterback at Georgia. And I'll tell you what about Carson Beck, Paul. I know that white boy running back made you laugh, Paul. I can't see your face right now, but I know that's funny for you, Paul. Because I know. Hold on, Paul. Before you go, I know you work for ESPN. You can't say nothing wrong. We don't want to get you in trouble, Paul. So I'll be the guy who says it, but I don't know about it, Paul. But I tell you what, Paul, that Carson Beck, man, I don't care what he was out of coming out of high school, none of that. Boy, we're not the same without Stetson Bennett, boy. We need to get that boy out of Buford, the boy that transfer across the country. We got to get him on campus tomorrow because I don't like our chances with Carson Beck because Beck is butt.
Well, Cleetus, if we look at Georgia's trend, I'm sure that he'll be on campus in the spring. You'll get to get it up close in person, look at him by the springtime. Now, on Carson Beck and the white running back joke that you just made in there, yeah, I did find it kind of comical because you act like Kirby Smart doesn't get, these top-notch guys every single year. And just because he's a white running back, I mean, did you ever hear about LSU's running back? His name is
Jacob. You talking about Jacob Hester? Jacob Hester was behind a hell of an offensive line. Les Miles and them boys, they were different, boy. He's not no Jacob Hester. This boy won't see the NFL. Jacob Hester had a scholarship, Paul. I don't want to hear that. Let me tell you what, though, Paul. This Georgia Bulldog team is going to be the worst team to ever win a national championship. And, boy, we're going to go 3 in a row, something that Saban never, ever did in his life. And y'all going to be calling Kirby the GOAT soon as January rolls around, Paul. And that's all I got to say, Paul, I ain't going to cuss on your show, but, Paul, you better get right, boy. You better get on that Bulldog bandwagon.
Right, Cleetus, we appreciate the call. We'll go ahead and end the call. We appreciate the call. And it remains to be seen. We'll see what Georgia does.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Parlay Pete. The way you smoke this Paul Finebaum shit, it is absolutely amazing. Because Paul Finebaum is probably like, he is like the worst kind of dick.
Well, what it is it's so crazy because Paul literally he's this Alabama like.
Well, now he's from Memphis, went to University of Tennessee.
But I'm just saying his show has been based in Alabama, right?
Yeah, he's
like
from
he's taking calls from Alabama and Auburn fans for the most part. But it's a syndicated show in the Southeast. And like, you know, he catches ESPN's eye. They have the SEC network and stuff all of a sudden. And like, he's a true Southern, like, sports, not even journalist, but he's a talk show host.
Yeah, no, bro.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a football version of fucking Dr. Phil. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a football version of Dr. Phil.
I love his show. I love the way he runs his show.
Look, I'm sorry, but you see this guy that should be in the Hall of Fame they just showed on TV?
Jerry Rice?
No, Mike Shanahan.
Oh God, yeah, it's sick that he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's actually disgusting.
I swear to God, bro. And it's like they keep letting McCaffrey get open. But continue on. I'm sorry.
But no,
like, he's looking at Kittle and like, but for whatever reason, Christian McCaffrey's the nigga that's open. And it's just like, why are y'all guarding Kittle so hard? Why aren't you guarding fucking the nigga that's getting the ball every play? Getting the ball every play. Like,
I guess for me, Paul Finebaum, his show, his callers, all of it is just, it's the South that I grew up in. It's the South that I know. It's the people when I, like, tomorrow I'll be in Cartersville, and depending on I haven't checked schedules yet, but I may find myself at a high school football game, and the people who are going to be at that game are the people who call in the Paul Finebaum. And
yeah,
it's comforting. It's home. And Paul is that pretentious country asshole who's just like, Cleetus, you don't watch football. Like right. You can hear it's like you know that Paul Finebaum is Southern, but at the same time, his drawl isn't so heavy that he sounds stupid. Like he's, you know what, Parlay Pete? Paul Finebaum is us if we would have went all in on fucking journalism out of college, out of high school. We say, hey, you know what? We're gonna do the local circuit. Here's what we'll talk. We'll talk NBA. We'll talk football. We'll talk college football, NFL, either one. Or I'll talk baseball, but I got to talk Braves. I'm not talking.
Well, that's the only thing in the Southeast. I mean, yeah, there's the Rays and the Marlins, but like the Braves are really the only team in the Southeast. So, you know, those two teams are new. Those are newer teams. Like the Braves have been in the Southeast since the 60s. So
and Ted Turner utilized TBS.
Oh, threw it to Kittle, bro, on the 3rd and 8. They got a PI. Unbelievable.
So I just like his show because I know the callers who call in, and despite their race, the way that they speak, bro, I got uncles that call in like some of the Paul Finebaum callers, and I'll listen to my uncles talk to me about football, and I love my uncles to death, and I'll be like, yeah, man, this ain't the 80s, man. It ain't 3 yards in a cloud of dust no more, man. You got to throw the ball, like,
right.
Why they in shotgun in the red zone? It creates better matchups and pass windows to get a playoff instead of just getting in the eye and run it straight where niggas. I get what you're saying. Like, I know that worked for years.
In a passing league. Did you see this PI on Thibodeau? And think about Thibodeau he's like dropping, nigga, the defensive end. He's not an outside linebacker. He's a fucking defensive end going back with the tight end. It's like, bro, Kittle ain't done shit all game, and y'all got this type of coverage on him.
And y'all got him out the game. Put him in the game and fucking pass rush. But, hey, While I was in the bathroom, I know you were hitting this big slate, and this is the first real week of college football, and here's what's going to happen in college football as we see these conferences come together. Instead of waiting a week 3 for this, we're going to get some of this in like week 2.
Yeah,
because losing games are going to become less punitive, and the TV networks and the money are going to get involved. So they're going to make big teams play against each other. And we got Coach Prime out here getting more viewers than anybody could ever dream of. They're like, hold on, whoa. We've got a hearty slate. Where do you want to start with this college slate right now?
So the biggest game that sticks out to me, honestly, I think the Notre Dame Ohio State game is the
hold on, 1 second. Clemson's not ranked.
Yeah, man. Didn't you hear in the papers that they were tied with Charleston Southern, nigga? Like you have to drop a team out of the rankings after stuff like that. I wouldn't have them in my rankings. I wouldn't. They shouldn't have been in it after the Duke game. I mean,
Paul, I don't read the Albany Herald.
Come on, Kittle touchdown. Oh, he pushed him. Oh my God, bro. They're setting it like they set that play up to throw it to him, and the fucking middle linebacker just pushes him to the ground. There's no PI call.
It wasn't PI yet, though. He got him early. He got him off the line.
I know, but this is my point. What is this? What's up with this, bro? I'm just saying, everybody else.
$20 not covering.
But look, you could clearly tell that play was really for him, low key.
Yeah, no, it was high key.
And you know that if he doesn't fall down to the ground, he fucking scores. That's like the crazy part.
Well, yes.
Like we can't get Kittle in the goddamn end zone, bro. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
But yeah,
yeah, my bad. I'm invested betting wise and fantasy, so it's like I just can't believe this shit. Is all I'm saying. But
we got Notre Dame, Ohio State 6 versus 9. Notre Dame has the best quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Notre Dame. Can I read you an Ohio State quote though?
Go ahead.
Ryan Day said he gets more nervous for the midweek practices than he does for the actual game.
Why? Well, why though?
I guess because of what he's putting out on the field and what
more nervous if they're actually prepared as opposed to. Is he trying to like fuck us with his words and say that like the game is the preparation as opposed to the like? What does that mean? I guess is what I'm saying.
Here's what I take it as. He's saying our scout team offense and scout team defense are honestly better than most teams' actual teams. So they instill more fear in me than the teams we play against. I don't like that from a guy who hasn't won a national championship.
Well, that's stupid. Then I tell you what, then the scout team didn't do a good enough fucking job against Georgia because the kicker still missed the kick. Okay. And even more importantly, fuck the Georgia game. Everybody can say, well, they didn't miss that kick. Well, he fucking did. And Georgia missed a kick early in the game too. So what are we talking about? Kickers miss kicks. That's why they're kickers, and that's why they have to kick. What about when they played Michigan and they got embarrassed 2 years in a row? What about that? Are we going to talk about that? Or how about the first year that Ryan Day was the coach and Ohio State got away with one when Michigan should have won that game? They didn't call the right call in that game. If we really want to break it down, but look, man. He's a front runner because he's had a front running ass team. They always have talent. People are always going to want to go to Ohio State. Ohio State will never fall off the way a Miami has. They'll never fall off the way a Florida has. They won't, like LSU has patches too, like where they fall. Like Ohio State's not one of those programs. That's why I think they said it's been 32 straight seasons where they've been ranked in the top 25 to start the year. Ohio State's not a program that falls off.
Oh, you know what Ohio State won't do? They won't
be obscure and irrelevant. They'll never be that.
Yeah, they'll never be that, and they also won't get an Adidas sponsorship like Miami did, and they'll always update their facilities. And guess what? Because they got LeBron James in their back pocket now, they will be Nike and they will be breaded up, and they will get favor from Nike. Like Ohio State has the traditional jerseys. I don't ever see that changing. But anytime Ohio wants to do some funky Phil Knight shit, like Oregon got the cleats that are changing colors with the heat this week, all they gotta do is make that call to LeBron, and it's like, we got you, dog.
Yeah. Fuck Bron. Fuck Bron. No, I'm kidding. But you remember that song that they were like, fuck Steph Curry, but it was like, fuck Bron. The height of the Warriors cast.
Well, bro, you remember I went on a crazy fuck Steph Curry campaign on social media.
You did one to Jordan too. You said fuck. That is your. Let me tell you, when I tell you that is your greatest soliloquy type work, I just remember it because I had obviously we follow each other on Snapchat and stuff, but like I just remember it so vividly because I'm watching the game. Obviously, everybody's watching Kobe and you're so pumped, and you're on here talking about Michael Jordan, and it's just like but no, for everybody that's our era, we didn't really see Jordan. I mean, we did, but like we know who Michael Jordan is. There's no mistaking who he is. But it's like Kobe is our Jordan. In my opinion, he's our Jordan.
No, Kobe.
Like LeBron's not my Jordan. Kobe's my Jordan.
Kobe.
And I'm just talking about just who was the best player in the world. It was him, bro. That's who it was growing up. It was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, bro. And did you watch it at once, or did you watch it like as I was posting piece by piece?
It was piece by piece. I didn't see it after the game. I was because I posted stuff. I posted stuff with the mama tag and stuff. So like, I didn't watch it like all like okay. If you posted one piece of it, maybe an hour later I saw like a couple other pieces.
Oh, see, so you watched it the right way though, because the right way to watch it was, all right, bro. I'm watching the game. I'm gonna hop on.
It was live commentary.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, putting it all together, it looked good together. But like what people have to understand is I'm doing this like over the course of the entire game. Like I remember watching that game. It's so funny. Living in San Diego, I'm on the phone with my mom. My mom's watching the game, and my mom is not a sports fan at all. And Kobe starts going so crazy. I tell my mom, I'm like,
really
hey, Mom,
in the third quarter.
I tell my mom, if you know me, shout out to Eric Boyd. He lived with me for 2 years. Like me and my mom, we'll talk on the phone for 3 hours. Easy. Like, I was like, Mom, I gotta go. This game is too good. And like, I'm ready to hop on Snap because this was before I had a pod. This is back when I was Snap ranting, which is why I ended up getting a podcast. But like
they had the Mamba thing, and then they had Kobe doing bro. Like yes, I was there. I was present in that moment.
Hey, let me tell you another funny thing. You know how Goldmouth Tommy talks about he be drinking Yonsei?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, that's my dog. I love Goldmouth. I brought him on the pod. He came on with us, but his whole Yonsei shit, that's all cap and that's Swagger Jack, right? Yeah, for one, his Yonsei is vodka water. That's not Yonsei. Yonsei is gin on the rocks because
keep going. I can hear you now.
Back when I came up with Yonsei, I'm drinking ice water and Yonsei. So I would be outside on my stoop, Section 8, listening to Beyonce, smoking a Black and Mild, drinking Seagram's gin. Shout out to Big Deck. That bumpy face on the rocks. And that's real Yonsei.
No watermelon? I figured the Yonsei meant with watermelon.
No, it was ice water and Yonsei. It's ice water and Yonsei because I was calling it ice water. So I'd be telling people I'm not drinking ice water, right? So right. That's where it came from. And then because, I'm listening to Yonsei, it became, I'm on that Yonsei tonight. So yeah, that Kobe now, I'm on that ice water. I'm on that Seagram's. I'm on that Seagram's with the ice in it, baby. And I'm going crazy, listening to Kobe. And I'm like, hey, mom, I love you, baby, but we gotta go.
There's a lot going on.
I'm going crazy on Snap right now. But nah, man. Great college slate, man. Lane Kiffin has the opportunity to really just tag the Saban is like, hey, man.
It's basically old man, like one of those, like. But then you want to know what that's going to do? It's going to create so much more intrigue for Alabama if they were to lose this game next season with them getting a top recruit and just in general. Saban's going to have a response. See, unlike Dabo, I don't think Saban goes. Saban's not going to go out like this in reality. Like to think that when Georgia beat them in the national championship, that's the last that we'll see of Saban in the national championship. Alabama will go to one more. I do. No, I think that Alabama goes to one more before Saban's done.
I think so.
Let's say Saban coaches 5 more years. He goes to one more, bro. He's not going out like he's not going to be he's not going to be Steve Spurrier at South Carolina. He's not going to be Mac Brown at UNC. He's the greatest college football coach ever. Now, look, Kirby's going to have a hell of a fucking – he still is at Saban, even if he goes 3 in a row. But obviously, when it's all said and done, Saban can – Kirby can definitely clear Saban because he's so much younger and he's accomplishing more. But, like, it's going to be really hard for him because then people are going to start talking about the NIL, the transfer portal and how that changed things. Like, it's just like how the passing – how with passing in the NFL, everything has changed, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be one of those type of things to where we're going to look at it as a different era of college football, and it was him on his way out anyways because he's just older. Kirby's like the only person, unless, Perv and Meyer gets back in the ring and he turns somebody else around and wins another 2 or something. Outside of that, Kirby's about the only one that's got a chance.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Me and you both know Perv is back next year. Perv is back next year. Oh, yes. Don't we just love the technical difficulties? Isn't it the most amazing thing in the pod? But Perv is back.
Yeah, a little bit.
We'll see how.
Now I can see perfectly and everything.
Okay, great. Now Perv is back next year, but I think Saban gets him another natty before he gets out of here.
I don't know if he wins another. I think that he gets in another. I just don't see him just. Okay, how are we good?
You're good. Just keep talking.
I think that he definitely gets to another. I don't know if he wins another because the gauntlet is about to be even crazier with Alabama, having to play Oklahoma and Texas. Like, and I'm not saying that, these are fearful programs, but for what it's worth, Texas and Oklahoma have won a national championship within the 21st century. It's not like they're just that far. Like, they're not as far removed as Georgia was before Georgia had just won theirs. Like, you know what I mean? Like Georgia hadn't won since 1980. So there's a big difference. Oklahoma's been to 2. Since 2000, they've been to 2. The Florida schools, they're going to get back in. There we go, Kittle. Florida State's been to 1. They've won 1. And I believe they've been to 2 since 2000. Miami's won 1. Like there's going to be so much more competitive schools, right? Like, and then there's going to be the one school that nobody expects that just comes out of nowhere. And Georgia, in a weird way, has been that school because they just rose above, right? I think that when we hired Kirby, the expectation was that he would take the program to that next level. But nobody did. Anyone actually fear Georgia's going to win a national championship before he did it? No, I don't think so.
At LSU, they're going to make some noise.
They do it every other 2-3 years. They always do. They always put together a 12-1 football team. Or in the case of Joe Burrow and them, an undefeated year. Like, they put together that type of team every, 2 years, 3 years.
And Heupel's not going to be at Tennessee forever.
Well, it depends on what happens at Oklahoma because that's his dream job. Like that is like Kirby's dream. Like Kirby had been offered probably multiple jobs over his 7 years as DC. He was waiting until Mark Richt got kicked out, and he knew that it was gonna. Because the weird thing is that Georgia loved Mark Richt. Like even though we never won the whole thing, he was so well liked, and it was like, well, who do you replace him with? And Kirby was the only person that you were going to replace him with. That was the only. If Georgia had hired anyone else, I promise you they would have hated the hire. Some people hated it even when they did do it.
Well, you remember they were doing the Kirby versus Rick like first 3-year comparisons. It's like, well, hold on. Kirby got us to a natty. Mark never did. And the product on the field looks different. I get the record might be the same, but the product looks different.
Mentality.
And like that Alabama loss with a blown coverage to a future Heisman winner and a arguable top 10 receiver in the league today.
No, that top 10 receiver was a Heisman winner.
I'm saying a Heisman winner.
Oh, what? But the quarterback though. The quarterback and he's arguably the best. Before he got hurt, he was an MVP candidate before he even got fucking hurt last year. Like,
and he's the MVP candidate right now. And Devonta Smith, like, he 175, but he cooks. So like, again, that corner should have known once he beat him outside in cover 2, you're supposed to bail with him. He didn't. Whatever. But it goes, this looks different. It looks totally different. And now Kirby's raised the standard, but Kirby knew Alabama was his when Saban retired. But Georgia opened up first. And I see Kirby having a Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno, Nick Saban-esque run where a Spurrier run where he leaves on his own time.
And I think even putting Spurrier and Nick, only because Nick's been there,
20.
I think more so the Bowden Paterno run.
Yeah.
The 30 plus is what I think.
Yeah, I think Kirby. I think Kirby retires from UGA unless he gets greedy and wants to go to the NFL. But he gets paid so much. Like why? Yeah. Why have to worry about the draft when you can go pick your players? Hey, do you want to hit one non-football topic real quick?
Let's do it.
That little bite that came out about Dolan not wanting to be an owner. Did that do anything for you? Because I read it and it said, yeah, nigga, it's obvious you don't want to be an owner. We know you don't want to be an owner. Like, you're not good at owning. And even though the Knicks are doing fairly well, they're winning games, but like nothing about what you've done with that franchise says you want to be an owner.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's a conversation there. You know what? It's not a conversation there because there's nothing for us to talk about.
I'd just love to see that. But thank you. Let's get this big guy a fucking touchdown. I'm sorry. You'd like to see it. You like to see, well, because he's had like 3 catches and like 30 yards in the first 2 games. I think now he might have eclipsed actually 60 yards receiving finally. But let's get him in the end zone too. Let's show the dominance of our fantasy team, Lee. Let's show that this motherfucker is going to win another championship this year. But no, I thought that it was interesting. And let me tell you, so this is the weird part. I've been to 3 Knicks games in my life at Madison Square Garden. No, I'm sorry. I've only been to 2, not 3. Yeah, I've only been to 2. Madison Square Garden is the best place to watch a basketball game. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. And I haven't been to as many basketball as football stadiums. But I guess my point in bringing that up, even in this conversation, is the fact that regardless of the owner, bro, like everything is so outside of the criticism that he gets from a person like a Mad Dog on the radio, and the fans saying "fuck you, Dolan" or like something at an MSG, bro, they still come back for more. It doesn't really matter. I guess I bet he doesn't like it because he only gets criticized. Like, yeah, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it from the sense of the day-to-day running it and the morale of the fan base towards him. I don't think that he doesn't like it because profit-wise, they're there. They're, bro, the first time I was in there, I went to go see Colin play, the Cavs. Cavs were obviously a bottom of the barrel team his rookie year. LeBron had just left. They were, they got Darius Garland next year. Knicks sucked too. I'm talking about this is in April of the season. So the season's over. I mean, these teams are, it's a bad basketball game, basically. And bro, it was a sellout. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was a fucking sellout still. There were still nothing but people in there. And it's like, yeah, I bet he does hate fucking running the teams because he gets criticized. He don't hate running the teams because he's not making money. He hates running the teams because he gets criticized. And nobody likes to be talked about. Nobody. I don't know anyone that likes negative criticism towards the way that they run anything, especially when they've accomplished everything already. Or they haven't necessarily, even if you're not rich like him, right? But you run something, or you're in charge of something, but you get some criticism, whether it's warranted or not. Like, nobody likes to hear negative feedback. Nobody.
I mean, you're fortunate because you don't get annual reports on you from your boss.
But I do, in a sense of I've lost a contract before. Like,
yeah,
I like that to me is the annual report. That means either somebody else is offering a better deal or I'm not doing a good enough job to where they want to come in. And I always respect it though, because constructive criticism is one thing. And plus you can learn from situations. In his case, it doesn't really matter what he does either. It doesn't matter what he does because the money, that's not going to affect his money.
The point that I'm making though is like, you don't have to like sit across from someone who's evaluating you and they sit there and tell you about yourself, whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent. And again, I'm not saying that to say that you don't get criticized, because at the end of the day,
I do.
You sign the checks, man. Like,
yeah.
And because you sign the checks, you owe certain people a certain dollar figure, no matter what comes in, which can then affect you.
For sure. Like, and even performance-wise on my end, I mean, I'm a payroll person. I like things to be done. I do more than payroll, but I'm just saying that is like the number one thing if I ever hear from anyone, my pay is wrong. Like, from an employee at least. Nobody's ever criticized the way how I run things. I've never, not from an employee, I've never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. They have a handbook. We have a handbook. There's a bunch of stuff that you sign. Say, if you didn't read it, you didn't read it. Like, so I tell you exactly what we're going to do, how it's going to be done. How can I elevate in the company? Is there room for growth? Like, can I make more money? Can I get a better position? What is that end game? That stuff is like, I talk to them about that. If I'm the person that's doing the interview, we talk about it because I am the person that signs your check. So like, you can talk to me and I promise you, I won't bullshit you because I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. You know what I mean? But like, at the same time, I think for somebody like him, he cuts the checks and he does run it, but he don't run it. Like, he don't have to day to day, bro. He's not doing anything. Like,
he knows, the thing about him is he knows he's going to be in the black no matter how good or bad he is, because New York Knicks fans,
their franchise is more valuable than the Lakers. How crazy is that?
They're what?
The Knicks are worth more than the Lakers.
The New York Knicks fans, specifically their fans, they are loyal to a fault. They can try Jeremy Lin, Austin Rivers, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Bertans out there, and they're still going to sell out.
Yeah.
Because there's the aura of the Guard and there's the aura of the New York Knicks. And the league revenue shares So Dolan is still in the black, so he doesn't have to be good to win financially. Yeah. And when it comes to owning a business, it's not always about being the best. It's about being in the black every year.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the New York Knicks. And it's unfortunate for those fans because they're so loyal that they don't see the return on their investment in the same way that other fan bases do. Whereas here's what I like about Atlanta fans. Atlanta fans aren't loyal.
No, we're more in it for everything else.
So if the product you put out in Atlanta ain't good, we ain't watching. You're not selling out. Hey, shit, we made the playoffs this past year. We weren't selling out home games like it was just because we were at home. It's like, who are they playing? Who this team is winning, but they're not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 500. Like, we're not coming to watch a 500 product. We want to come watch a 50 and 30 team, a 50 and 32 team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's Atlanta. And it sucks when you are a diehard because, again, we're diehard Falcons fans and we see the same thing in the football season. But, like, hey, dog, you got to earn our money because, I mean, New York's a busy city. Obviously, there's things to do. But culturally, we're more similar to LA. Why would I come here to this game and pay $200, $250 for some good seats when I can go to brunch and do the same thing and have fun?
Yeah.
You'll watch the game. So if Dolan doesn't want to own the team, sell it, man. I think there are people who will gladly put together nice financial groups to purchase this team from you and actually invest into the team. As we get out of here, Parlay Pete, let's talk about one of the biggest voices in New York media ever, Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Dog was Mad Dog was wild. I would say he was wilding. He was telling the truth about his Saturday, and right now I'm trying to scroll up and find the clip so I can actually play it for the listeners, because I'm sure the sports fans heard it.
Right.
But let's just make sure everybody knows where we're coming from, because here we go.
Rob in Rapid.
That's your bait.
He's a former priest.
Tell him. You know what? No.
In the Vatican. He lived there for 5 years.
And that's what you call him Fat Rob.
5 years. He lived in there. He was up there when they were doing the smoke. He was the next priest was. That was him, the next pope.
No.
Anyway. Smoked us. He was the next priest was. That was him, the next pope.
No.
Anyway, to make a long story short.
No, tell everyone what you told us this morning, what you're doing this weekend.
Here's what I'm doing this weekend.
Listen to what he's doing this weekend.
The missus is away.
Bad dog.
Visiting my son in Flagstaff, who's coaching Northern Arizona. I told you basketball.
Yep.
So the missus is away. Be lousy weather. Right?
It's going to be lousy in AZ?
No, it's going to be lousy here.
Here.
Rain. Yeah. So I can't get my golf or tennis in. You know, my little tennis shirt.
Yeah.
So I am going to, I'll get a run in. I'll take the two dogs, Bo and Riley, for a walk. At about 12 o'clock, I'll sit down. I'll make an early cocktail. Cut a gummy in half.
What's a gummy?
I'll cut a gummy in half. I'll cut a gummy in half. They got Florida State Clemson. I like the Florida State quarterback. I'll do something there. At about 3:25.
You're talking about betting.
I'm not driving in the house. 3:25. I'll put the call in to Fat Rob. 718-504. I'll put the call in to Fat Rob. Rob, you know what? What the hell? I can't root for Oregon. All right, I'll pretend on TV. Put 10 dimes on Colorado. It's by Colorado and Dion. Let's win the game. So by 3:25, I'll be sitting down with my shorts, little T-shirt, cocktail. I'll have the other half a gummy.
Oh, you save it for later?
I'll have half.
I thought you were just rationing it.
You go swing the tennis racket while you're doing that? You go back swinging the tennis racket?
Look at my golf swing.
Extending the moment.
So by 3:30, I'll have ABC. It's on ABC, right?
Yeah.
Is this a Fowler game with Herb Street? I'm sure it is.
I don't know.
Herb Street and Fowler. Well, why wouldn't they be in there? They got to be there.
The Colorado-Oregon game.
Yeah, that's
on ABC.
and I love those two. I love Herb Street. Herbie, he watches all the time. He always texts me. So I'll go out there and I'll put the game on at 3:30 on our route.
I haven't heard from Herbie in years. The only time I've heard from Herbie is when I showed up in Jackson State last year. See? You've got friends too.
There you go.
Okay.
I will bet the ranch and I will root crazy for the Buff on Saturday afternoon.
And
now
you're doing
here,
this, I just
I'm
want
going to root like
clear.
hell for Bo Nix.
I want to be clear.
But
You're
on
doing
TV,
this all by
I'm gonna root for
yourself.
Colorado.
You're just going to hang out by yourself. You're just going to hang out by
You know, I want to throw a couple things out here before we actually dive into this. One thing, you married guys can relate. When you get the house to yourself, oh golly, you just let loose. You don't follow none of the fucking rules. You just do whatever the hell you want, man. It's amazing. Also,
Nigga starts dancing around in his kitchen, listening to nigga looks like Mrs. Doubtfire.
oh, absolutely.
That's what you're making it sound.
Like the few weekends I've had, like when the wife is like out of town or like she got family in town, they go do some stuff and I gotta work or I just don't want to go and I can get out of it, bro. Oh boy, I have the fucking time of my life.
Yeah.
Secondly, we talked about Stephen A. and Max in the pre-production, but like, yo, Stephen A. is a hating ass nigga, ain't he? Like really, like
for a dude that's the highest paid man on the payroll, yeah.
I haven't heard. I haven't heard from Herbie since blah 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 because Stephen A. is the highest paid person who we see every day.
Yeah,
he ain't getting more than Herbie. He ain't getting more than Joe. He ain't getting more than Troy. He probably ain't getting more than Chris Fowler. He ain't getting more than McAfee, but McAfee's company got bought. So McAfee is only, he's only an employee in the sense of what he does on Saturday. His company makes what they make. But I just found that piece funny. Like, oh, Herb Street don't rock with you, Stephen A., because you know jack shit about college football. And you know what? I don't want to hear Stephen A. talk about anything. But that's me. Like, I apologize to him because I respect who he is and what he's done in sports talk as a black man who was once a reporter and a columnist. You know, he was one of the first 25 black columnists in America.
Yeah, Stephen A. F. Smith.
But I never wake up and say, oh shit, something happened. Let me see what Stephen A. got to say. Fuck out of here, Stephen A. Shout out to Mad Dog.
Yeah. It was refreshing to hear that. You know, if there's one thing you've noticed about what First Take does differently now, maybe than they did when he initially got on, they turn it into more of a relaxed show as opposed to this is just a strictly sports debate show where we're just going to continue to just talk shit to each other the entire time and we're going to yell and debate. They relax and let open more of their personality. I have not been able to catch a show, obviously, because I'm working. But I do still see clips on IG and then occasionally on YouTube. I don't really tune into them on YouTube. I like watching – I tell you who I watch. I like watching Rich Eisen, Bill Simmons.
You like people with substance.
Yeah. I like listening to the guys that know what they're talking about. I'll catch some Colin Cowherd stuff.
You like guys who know what they're talking about, and then when they don't know what they're talking about, they bring somebody on who will make them smarter and then make you smarter. You're not listening to somebody.
Oh, yeah, of course. Florio and Sims. You don't like Sims. But I like them together. I like them together on Pro Football Talk. I love them together. I think that they're a good duo.
I would say this, Sims knows what he's talking about. Sims is good. But when Sims jumped on the Zach Wilson bandwagon, and the way he prefaces it as, I'm not doing this for clicks or takes or none of that because I eventually want to work with a franchise. I know we all are wrong on people.
Yeah.
And I've been way more wrong than the people I criticize, but I also like devote less time to it because I have a fucking full-time job that has nothing to do, and a family that has nothing to do with this. Is that
and you have and they have, I'm sure they have families too, but like I'm just saying, like there's a lot of other stuff.
Hey, I mean, look here, Parlay Pete. If this podcast was our main source of income, we get way less shit from our family when we say, "Hey, I gotta watch this game." I've got to actually, you know what? Yeah, I watched this game live, but I'm also gonna watch the all 22. And it's like, yeah. You can't be too mad about this because this is actually what pays the bills. This is not a hobby. So like I like Sims. Don't get me wrong. I like Sims, but after his Zach Wilson fucking love and fellatio, I just like, come on, man. I it really turned me off of him. And I was a Chris Sims fan in college, bro. Like I was a Texas fan.
You know, he's best friends with Kyle Shanahan. They're like best friends.
Well, they were roommates.
I know. Well, right, because they both played at Texas. But I'm just saying, like, because Kyle was a receiver, right? So, like,
slot guy.
Right. Yeah. He Kyle Shanahan, Bill Belichick would love a guy like him, right? Like, but yeah, no, I've always been a big Sims fan, and I think that when it comes to those guys that I like to listen to, it's a little bit different than a Mad Dog. I just think that guys like Mad Dog, like Stephen A., they're a perfect example of commercial, right? Like anything like commercial, when people like, not to talk about music or restaurants and stuff like that, but like when you think of commercial, it's just like, well, that's Applebee's. You know, I'll raise it up a standard.
Outback.
Nah, fuck that. I won't even go that commercial. I'll go upper echelon commercial because ESPN is that. Let's say that they're like, and look, I don't have any issues with this restaurant. They're Fogo de Chao, bro. That is still a commercialized, like upper echelon type restaurant.
You know what?
You're gonna spend $50 a head on a meal, but it ain't like that one steakhouse that you can go to that is the best in town that you do need a reservation to. That's only there, or they might have another place in New York and in LA. Like it's not like going to Catch or something or John George Steakhouse in Las Vegas.
Or the steakhouse we in Tampa.
I'm just saying there's like 3 fucking Fogo de Chaos in Atlanta, and they're all over the world. They're in Brazil. I mean, LA. They're in LA too, New York. Like they're there, bro, but they're commercial, but they're upper echelon commercial.
I've had better Brazilian steakhouse
than Fogo, correct?
Yeah.
Same. There's one here in Atlanta that's better than it, but they're the commercial version of it. I guess.
Yeah, bro.
It's not that Fogo's food's not good.
Bro,
like,
it's Ruth Chris. It's Ruth Chris. It's Del Frisco's. Like, yeah, this is good.
Yes, these are the same places. You're gonna still spend $50 a head easily. But
knowing us, it's more like 200 because you talk
drinks. Yeah, with the drinks always get to you. But even if you weren't, that's one cocktail. I mean, we're talking a business dinner. You're still gonna walk out of there after tip. Probably if it's you and 2 people, if it's just you and another person, you're probably gonna still with the tip. You're gonna still spend about $200.
Yeah.
And we're talking conservative drinking, like
one old fashioned.
I love it. They're giving Kittle the ball finally. He almost got 100 yards. Crazy enough.
Hey,
yards.
Let me get the 6-ounce filet mignon and old fashioned, no app. That's ESPN.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll say any sides. Then you peruse the sides and you're like, we'll do the mac and cheese just because that's his. It's not a green. It's a side, and most people, as long as you're not lactose or like if you like hot cheese, like I love hot cheese, As long as you like something like that, you'll try the mac and cheese somewhere because that's like just a typical side of like, oh, is this place good? Yeah, they got good mac and cheese. So like it's like 10 has really good mac and cheese, by the way, and yams.
You said 10?
Yeah, 10 has very good mac and cheese and yams. I'm bullish on like the entrees. Those are two sides that I can get from there anytime. Like if I could cook my own salmon and do everything else, and then I get sides from them, but the sides are like $10 still, even there. So it's not 10, it's like 8. It's like 8, but like
when I go to 10, I get the tequila.
I like the tequila there too. Always really good stuff.
I like my price on the tequila there too.
Yeah, and I had heard you because when we got in there, like I'm telling her, and then I guess your cousin paid for it, or you did. One of you guys did.
Somebody did.
I think your cousin did it. But like, cause I was trying to be like, here, well, yeah, I'm trying, and then he's like, no, we already did it, and I was like, or no, she said it. The bartender said it, and I was like, I mean, you're not gonna hear any complaints out of me, I guess is what I'm saying. And I knew that you had the hookup or whatever, but
Oh yeah, that's there indefinitely, whether it's a Sunday after the game or a Saturday to watch college football like that. That exists.
Noted. Hey man, I'm a local joker. I'll say that much. You don't have to do that there, but because it looks like you're typing. Unless let's see.
The type is important. Hey man, I'm Jason Kidd out here. I love dropping off dimes.
Hey, we love a nice wide open pass. Okay. Hey, tell me why Brock Purdy just threw Christian McCaffrey a 2-yard pass. It wasn't like out of the backfield. He ran out like a receiver and caught it. And it's just like, so why not just give it to Kittle? I don't understand. What's up? Like everybody acts like McCaffrey doesn't get hurt all the time.
Brock Purdy is just doing what the scheme tells him to do, man.
And there's nothing he can do about it, right?
Brock Purdy is Stephen A. Smith, man. He's the company guy. What the company needs is what he gives you.
Yeah. I get it.
I don't got much left. Do you?
We're here. I guess we'll just see what has been a somewhat competitive game by the Giants. But
we can sit here and shoot the shit for the rest of the game because both of us are going to be watching it. I mean,
yeah, here we can end the show and just sit here and talk for the rest of this game. It's 6 minutes left. So,
all right, bet. Hey, we out of here. We'll be back next week.